your favorite for this year? Okay.
One second.
Vishal, are you packing now? Are you multitasking?
Isn't someone still missing? Okay.
Sarpatta, I think. I haven't seen Writer and Rocky because I just got back to Chennai. But if I without those two, then Sarpatta for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
The last time we did this was in 2019 for fully filming. Do you remember, Vishal?
Yeah.
Me, BR, Asha, Kishan.
That was 19, huh?
Yeah, that was 19 before COVID.
Oh, okay.
I have a photo of it over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Hello guys, welcome to the stream, and we have lovely people here joining us. Jimmy Cage, Kishor from Moving Images, and Vishal Menon. Hi, say hi.
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 But today we are here to talk about the best of Tamil cinema, and we'll be joined by Ronak soon, guys. Don't worry. But let us know in the chat if everything is fine. Is audio, video, everything good? Because last time I did a stream, I forgot to click on go live. And I was wondering why no one is in the chat. It's not happening.
We did the
again,
intro
Kishor.
twice.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about something else. It happened later.
I'm never going to let you forget that one time.
But let us know, guys, and let us know your favorites of the year, and we'll get dive deep into all the films we watched and our favorites, and even the worst ones we saw. That'd be cool. Hi everyone, Lokesh is here, Ritvik is here, AVD Creation is here. Let us know is audio and video fine, and we'll begin soon. But the first thing, okay, Ronak is in the chat. Hi from Chennai traffic. It's all right. The Norway Machan is here. Akash Krishna is here. Ronak Army is coming. All right. So I think the first thing before we get into the movies, I'm to ask, how was your 2021 for each one of you?
All over the place. Definitely difficult. I think a lot of people had so much hope for 2021 that it will be better than 2020, and maybe it was even worse. But movie-wise, I think it was a pretty good year. I'm about to complete my top 10 best movies of the year list right now, and I'm trying to catch up with some that I missed out. But I think there are a lot of great movies this year, and also a lot of great Indian movies.
All right. Kishor?
Oh, me? Okay. 2021 feels more like a sequel to 2020. Feels the same.
A good sequel or a bad sequel?
I don't know, man. I guess I'm trying to be optimistic here. So the one good thing is I was able to go back to the theaters.
Okay.
Watch some really great movies with a huge crowd. I really missed that. So I guess that puts 2021 slightly better than 2020 for me. and like Jimmy said, this has been a good year for films, especially the last few months. It's been really great.
Yeah. Vishal sir?
For me, movies wise, it's a damn good year, no? Like I think it's a good year for me in Tamil, good year for me in Malayalam also. So together, it is a good year in the movies. Personally speaking, nothing exciting, very boring, equally depressing kind of a year for me. Only good thing is I quit smoking, so that's the only good thing that's come out of the
Nice.
video. When I look back now. But movies wise, yeah, it was a damn good year. Like I was just making my list for Malayalam, and I've got 18 films. I don't know how to shrink this down to 10 and all that. So I think it's a much better year in terms of movies compared to last year. even in Tamil. So, like, and of course, that experience of going back to the theater. So, it's in some way like a better year than last year.
All right. My next question is, we saw this some new thing like, okay, 2020 we explored that direct OTT releases, but most of them were not that great. But this year we had like, simultaneous releases, some opting for OTT, some opting for theater. So I don't know your each person's thought on that aspect, and what do you think in future what holds in respect to Tamil cinema particularly.
I think of all the movies that I've seen this year, all the new ones, I only saw one of it in the cinema. I only saw Doctor in the cinema. The rest of it was all on OTT platforms, sometimes simultaneously, sometimes a little bit later. So for me, not living in India, living here in Austria, it's definitely a good thing that movies are coming out more and more on OTT. But about the future, I'm not so sure. I think when it comes to those big mass movies, they will always play in theaters, and people will come to watch them. But with smaller movies, I think it gets harder and harder to make enough money at the theater, and people are just, I don't know, very picky what they want to spend their money on. And I think for smaller movies, I see a brighter future on OTT.
Yeah.
For me, the the experience of watching a movie either in theater or OTT, it wasn't that drastically different. I don't know. It just might be me. It's probably just me because I like to go to the movies alone. For me, it's more of a personal experience. So it doesn't matter if I'm surrounded by a crowd of 1,000 people or if it's just me watching it on a small, not so small, but yeah, on a moderate sized screen. For me, it felt the same. The experience felt the same. Of course, there are movies you absolutely have to watch with a crowd just for the thrills. But other than that, for me, it wasn't much different as people made it out to be at the beginning of this whole OTT boom.
Yeah.
I think the transition has been really smooth. And like Jimmy said, there are certain movies that only works on OTT and they would get the required spotlight if they only release on OTT. So good for them.
Okay. Vishal?
Yeah, so Nona, I until maybe like a month back, I would completely agree with Jimmy. Like how I understood this was exactly how Jimmy understood it. I thought that okay, it's the end of it's a proper clear demarcation on what movie should go to OTT and what movie should go to theater, and they'll start making films like that. Not just in the distribution stage, but even when directors start thinking and planning, they know that okay, this is a theater film, so we need to make it like massier, we need to make it bigger. We have to spend the big budget film would have become more expensive, and the small budget film would have become small budget. That's what I thought. But then I won't agree to the fact that I won't call Doctor a mass movie. You understand? So Doctor might have a superstar, might have a big star as the lead actor, but then it's a film that became a super hit the old way. Because Doctor released when it was still 50% capacity. It didn't get like an out of India release like a film would usually get. So in terms of a release, it was a very muted release even for a Sivakarthikeyan movie. But then you saw it; it just went viral. It went viral like how it would usually go viral. Like it kept bringing people back to the theaters, kept coming, like people kept coming, kids kept coming. I watched it in Ooty, in a theater in Ooty, and the theater was just full. And it was I had to go back twice because the theater was full.
Yeah.
So that's a very old-fashioned, very optimistic kind of way for a film to become a hit. It's not a film that became a hit because it got 4,000 screens and it released, it made the money in the first 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Similarly, and I'll give you another example of this really small film called Janeman in Malayalam. Okay, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it yet. It's a film that released 1 week after Kurup. It released with 3 other films, and even now it's houseful. Kurup has come on OTT, Marakar has come on OTT, Minal Murli released on OTT, but Janeman is still playing in the theaters. Yeah. I didn't know anybody. Like, there's no big star in that movie. It's a new director. It's a movie that I went and watched because I had to go and watch. But it's my most joyful memory of this year. because it's a comedy in the theater. People are just laughing. They're out laughing each other because like they don't remember what it was to laugh that loudly. So I after seeing Janeman and all that, I think I've got so much hope. And Janeman is a movie they made for OTT, which they released in the theater.
Okay.
So I think that theater, we have only that. It's like that's not going to change. We are not going to have we don't have any other art form, we don't have any other kind of enjoyment. So the second the film is worth it, people start talking about that film, I think they're going back, and it doesn't matter what kind of a movie. So I'm very hopeful. I'm very, very hopeful about movies, and that demarcation doesn't really matter anymore because people are happy on OTT, people are happy with theaters also.
Yeah. So, the reason I asked this question is because recently something really bad happened to me. I went to watch Pushpa in Telugu and it didn't have subtitles. And I sat there for 3 hours, not knowing what people are talking about. I understood the story, the basic of it, but that experience was really, it has terrified me. So in the future, I don't know if I would like to watch a movie which is not in Hindi or in English in theaters, and I would choose OTT. And that's why, I think that's the perspective. I think what Jimmy also said, that it's easier for us to watch a film on OTT than in a theater. Of course, the theater experience is way better. I watched Karnan, I watched Doctor in theater. It was great, even Master. But that fear of, to able to watch that film in the original language with subtitles, it's not guaranteed at a cinema theater. And I think that's why it's at least for me, I don't know if Jimmy agrees, but an OTT is a way better option to watch a film and consume it than a theater.
I mean, it's easier for sure. There's only like one cinema here in Vienna anyway that's showing Indian content, and also not, of course, not all the Indian movies that are coming out. But I think here we always have English subtitles in the cinema. I don't think they would show a movie here without English subtitles.
Yeah. And that's
I think Pushpa is a specific case because I don't think that was the original plan. First of all, Pushpa is a film that released in 3 or 4 languages. So what they're assuming is when you go to the theater, if you don't understand Telugu, that you will watch a Hindi version. I think that's the assumption with Pushpa. Plus, it was a very last minute kind of edit or something like that. Like it's a film in Malayalam. Allu is a superstar. Allu Arjun is a superstar in Kerala, and the Malayalam version didn't release on the release date.
Yeah.
So it is a huge confusion even in Kerala. So I think Pushpa is a very specific case, which I don't think you will have a problem with RRR or any other big film that's going to come.
Yeah. My question was basically, do you think the boom, regional cinema got because of OTT, that everyone could watch at the same time, will be taken away once, theaters start operating at that level again? Because you get to watch a great film and I have to wait a month or 2 to actually watch it and then talk about it.
How it works is it's completely it's obviously film to film basis. Like if the film has a lot of hype, then it's very different. But that's how film works is you take a film and okay, it's a Vijay film or a Surya film. What happens after that? The distributors take a call.
Yeah.
A Tamil distributor is not the one who's taking the film to Goa or Maharashtra or anything of that sort. The second you have an exciting film, those people approach the producer. The producers just send the word out, and the distributors have to come and buy it from them.
Yeah.
After that, the promotion there, the taking care of the quality, the theaters, which screen, which timing, all that is up to the local distributor. So that is still a very traditional market. So if the distributor senses that, okay, if I get a Surya film, because Jai Bhim is a film that worked across the country, right?
Yeah.
So if they say, okay, a Surya film is coming, Jai Bhim was a super hit, let me spend that money, let me market it properly in Maharashtra, that's how it will work.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it won't happen. That's how it is. It's not universal like Netflix or Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So that risk is always going to be there.
Yeah. Kishor?
I mean, I'm hoping that this whole OTT and theaters coexisting in a weird relationship. I hope it just gets better and doesn't go away. But at the end of the day, it's all about money, right? And as long as movies are making money, on OTT. I don't see any reason for them to, pull out of this whole arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm just being hopeful that it doesn't go away, because like you said, watching a movie at the same time, it also feels like this new kind of a theater experience where you kind of tweet about it and watch it at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't use your phone, but you get the point.
Yeah.
And for me, that's kind of a new experience, and I'm seeing that these movies are making their money back using this OTT deals. So hopefully it doesn't go away. Hey, Ranak is here.
Hello.
How can I see anyone? Oh, hi. Hey guys, so sorry I'm late.
No.
Very, very sorry.
We all
I was
can
just rushing
understand.
from another meeting. Yeah, really sorry.
But
It's really nice to meet you. I've never
Nice to
spoken to
meet
you
you
before.
too.
So. Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Hey.
Hey, Kishor, hey, Vishal.
I don't know.
Yeah, hey, Nona. Hey, everyone.
hey man, welcome. And just want to put you the same question that about the OTT and theater release that like the hybrid release we saw this year, and what will be the future of that? And we were talking about how now that theater releases are happening and there's a big gap when it comes to OTT, so the distribution of that film is limited for a certain amount of time.
Okay, wait, what was your original question about OTT and theater?
Yeah, OTT and theater, and I'm saying that because in pandemic everyone got to see the film at the same time, so there was more buzz about it. Everyone got, is talking about the film, but because of the now theaters coming back, now film will be in theaters in Tamil Nadu or in Kerala, limited, and then people outside like Jimmy or me will get to watch it a month later or maybe 2 months later. So do you think that the boom which was happening for regional content going global will again go back to square one?
No, it's definitely not going to. I don't think it's going to go back or anything, because thing is, one misunderstood, like one underrated advantage of OTT is that lot of bad films, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to name the film, but lot of bad films got like a price for their movies. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they would come to the theaters, they would have to pay projection fee, they would have to pay distributors, all of this stuff. And then what they make in the end, like the movie's not even going to run like 3 or 4 days in the theater. Nowadays, you need like you don't get a good runtime. If it's running for like 1 week, it's a very big thing. If it's 2 weeks, it's like a super hit, at least as far as I know. I don't know the exact figures or anything. So in that case, at least a lot of these bad films are getting OTT releases, so that is going to happen after this also. Maybe after next year, there will be filmmakers making directly, or producers will say, wait, let's just make it directly for OTT. I'm just guessing. And now even stars who had like a reservation to get inside this system are now starting to experiment. Like even if you take like Tamanna or Vijay Sethupathi, Madhavan, Madhavan was like the first one to do it. Now pretty much everyone is doing it. I don't think it's going to go back to the original this thing. I think everything is going to coexist, and or definitely the window from the release to OTT release is going to come down. Like maybe like because Master also came out in the theaters. I think it came out. Yeah, within a month.
Yeah.
Doctor came out within I think 15 days, if I'm not wrong.
I think more than that. I think more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dr.
I think it came pretty soon. But the thing is, movies like Master and Doctor, like especially Doctor, right? I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much on this thing, on OTT. Because the atmosphere was like something else. Like the way people were laughing, the joke is over.
Yeah.
The next joke is coming like over here. But they are laughing for the previous joke, like beyond this also. Though some jokes are even getting missed out because people are laughing so much. So yeah, I don't think it's going to go back. It's just going to coexist in a better way. Like I don't know if you've seen the producers roundtable with film company only did.
Anupama Chopra,
yeah. So I think Bollywood is in a very weird place because they started getting on the bandwagon like from before. They started making web series and everything, but now for them, both of the things are not really working out. Like they're not sure what to do. They're making a lot of remakes. They're making like substandard films, but only few people are doing it well. Like among the panel itself, I think Karan Johar had one hit. I'm not sure how Meenakshi Sundareshwar and all did, I'm not very sure. But Shershah did really well.
Yeah.
It did really good numbers. Nikhil Advani made like a couple of series and everything. So like it is a weird place, but it is going to coexist if you ask me.
All right. So let's get to the movies. So I want to go with Jimmy first. Your top favorite Tamil film of this year, and we can all pitch in our thoughts.
Okay, so already my number one spot. Yeah, sure, why not? I think I asked on Twitter if people know what my number one would be, and of course someone immediately posted the right GIF. My number one favorite Tamil movie of the year is Karnan,
All right.
starring Dhanush. Yeah, I think this was just an amazing movie. So should I just talk now, or everyone shares their pick?
You can talk about it.
Okay, I can talk about it. And it came out very early in the year, and which was crazy because this year I started making a Word document with my favorite movies from the beginning of the year, so that I don't miss out on any movies and don't have to do all the thinking at the end of the year. And I put Karnan at the number one spot, and it stayed the number one spot for the entire year until some other movie came out, but I'm not going to spoil that here. And yeah, it was directed by Mari Selvaraj. I think it was the second movie. Mm-hmm. I also loved his first one, Pariyerum Perumal, and I think Karnan is pretty much in that same vein. It's a hard-hitting social movie about social injustice, and I watched this at home. I wish that I would have been able to watch this in the theater, because I was alone at home and I was still applauding and cheering and crying and even dancing. And for me, this movie hit all the right points for me, and I was so into it. And I hope I'm not alone liking that movie so much.
Not at all.
Definitely not, yeah.
Yeah, for me it's Karnan as well. The thing I really liked about the movie was everything was like very clear, like the intent of the director, his anger, his thought process, the message he was trying to get across. There's no decoding or anything that you need to do. Whatever he wanted to say, he pretty much put it out there for all of us to see, and that was a visceral experience. Like Jimmy said, you laughed, you cried, you danced, you rejoiced, you got angry with whatever was happening on screen. So for me, that was a really new experience, especially after 2020. After what has been a tough year, having not seen any movie or even a good movie for that matter. This was a really good movie that Master kind of, made things feel normal, made us all feel optimistic a little bit. Maybe films will be back. Maybe this is the new norm. But Karnan was the one that, reassured us that we still got it. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right. Who wants to pitch in?
Okay, I'll go. So for me also, it was Karnan, and it was. So the thing is, there was one Q&A or something I had put out, and in that, I think Nona only asked, like, what's your favorite film of 2021? I don't remember which month it was, but at that time I said it was Karnan, like hands down, because it was I think after Master, it was the first film I saw in the theater. I think I didn't see anything else that time, and I couldn't go for Karnan first day, first show only because I had COVID. So I had to go like once I'm done. I was waiting for this thing to get over immediately. I think after 9 or 10 days or something, I got to watch the movie, and it's like been such a very long time since, like, when you're watching a movie at home, right, on OTT, you know that you're watching it. Like, in the sense, there is, that there is a product or there is something going on. And anytime you have your phone with you, you can scroll your phone, you can go get some snack and come, you can pause, do all of that stuff. So for a long time, that was like the thing. There'll be like a wall between you and the movie. But this film, it kind of sucked you in, right? And mainly because of the things that it talks about, right? There are a lot of, like it's a very personal thing as to so many conversations I've had with my mom and dad and my brother and everything about that subject matter, about where we come from, how the people around us were, all of those things. So it felt that much more hard hitting because you felt that anger, right?
Yeah.
If that police guy showed up, like normally you get angry with the policeman, but that anger at the end, I don't know. I think Nona, for you, the last end didn't work, right? If I'm not wrong, like you guys had that stream and I was watching
Yeah.
that. So for me, that anger that Dhanush has, right? He actually doesn't want to kill him, but these guys are like pushing him further and further and further into this particular situation where he has to do things that he doesn't want to do, right? And that film made me feel that anger throughout, like at so many instances. So in terms of pure impact, I'd say Karnan, but then I watched Sarpatta, I think that came in August. And now that's my number one film. It did all of these things, but also since I watched Gangs of Wasseypur, so many different characters, and each character is like better than the other. And like the most interesting character is not the protagonist itself. It's some guy called Dancing Rose. He's one of the the villains, not the villains, but the antagonist team members. And there's like an entire universe going on. And mainly I liked Sarpata more because I think I needed that some kind of hope in this year. Like this year personally for me, it was fucking terrible. Like in the sense now it's slightly getting better. I don't know if you can swear on this.
No, it's all right.
It's okay.
Hey,
You already did.
is it echoing for someone?
Little, yeah.
Is it mine? It's probably mine.
Kishore, do you have headphones? I think you're using a speaker, I guess.
This should actively cancel everything out, but yeah, you guys.
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah.
I'll go grab a headphone.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, so I needed some kind of hope. So that's why I really enjoyed Sarpata. I watched it like I think 4 or 5 times at home, and I can't even imagine what it'll be like to watch it on the big screen. Like that is one little regret that I have, that and Minal Murli also, that I didn't get to watch it on the big screen. So yeah, Sarpata, it's Sarpata for me.
All right.
Yeah,
Vishal,
same for me. Like I totally agree with Ronak. Karnan was a really big film that happened after some 3 months of nothing, So I remember going to Karnan and coming out of Karnan with a lot more, feeling a lot more than maybe Sarpata. But Sarpata, when I watched it the first time, and I was just astonished because I'm a huge fan of Madras. I'm a huge fan of Ranjit in Madras. And I keep talking about that fight scene with the tube lights to people and say oh, this is like an astonishing filmmaker. He's not a filmmaker you have to talk about as only important. That's how it has become. At least after Kala, he became an important director, but not an amazing director, because when you talk about him, you always talk about him as great director, but always one step below Vetrimaran when it comes to Vetrimaran and Maniratnam and all that when it comes to craft and in terms of the actual making. But then Sarpata, it's so much more up to date than anybody else's kind of style, right? It's so much cooler as a movie. And I want to use cool as the word because it's such a cool film too,
Yeah.
The fact everything else is additional. There are scenes where, in 1 second, you're watching the film from the spectator's point of view. Within one cut, you're in Arya's head, and it's a different pace.
Yeah.
Outside, it's a boxing fight. You're watching a boxing match where 2 people are it's the pace of a boxing match, right? But then the second you cut and you're inside Arya's head, and you can hear his heartbeat, the time is completely different. It's such an incredible thing to do, it make you speed up and slow down in 2 seconds. So there are at least 15 things like this. This is probably the thing that astonished me the most, but there are at least 15 things like this. So it's so important for us to have a damn important movie, but also a damn cool movie, because the damn cool movie is what's going to make fans out of 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds and 10-year-olds in the future. The importance you'll understand
Yeah.
gradually when you study it, when you have so many experiences and in life and what you watch artistically. But Sarpatta is a movie that will get you to all this because you're so hooked to this, right? Like I'm sure if I was a kid, I would be like playing cards with the characters in Sarpatta, like
Yeah.
the what do you call it, like the trump cards, or what do you
Yeah.
call those things?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is,
yeah.
is Fully Filmy gonna release one?
No, we actually made trump cards but they didn't want to sell it actually. So we made it for the Prime and then their team. So
Yeah.
I was just thinking of that.
Yeah.
But what you said about time, right? Like how Ranjit plays with time, it just reminded me about what Nolan has been trying to do with time since so many years. It's like Nolan uses time intellectually, and Ranjit within like few sequences he uses it for emotional impact. Just that Dancing Rose fight with how the sound of the ticking clock and how there's like a punch that lands. Till that time it's slow motion, and then his eyes goes like this and it comes back and it does all. And you can I can feel chills right now. Like theater, I can't even imagine what it'll be like.
Man, I love that film. But I have one question for all of you. Do you think was it like a commercial thing that hero has to defeat the villain, or do you think in the narrative it made sense that he struck Dancing Rose and Dancing Rose lost? It was not like Arya survived the 2 minutes against him, because even Wembley and Dancing Rose, they were tough fighters. It was not okay Wembley is better than everyone. Like Dancing Rose was a different beast altogether. So there was not even a winner between them. But here Arya's character just punches him out. So do you think him just surviving those 2 minutes would have been a better way of showing that, or is it like a hero thing that no, he has to beat the guy?
He has to. Of course he has to. I don't care if it's commercial or not, but it did the thing for me. And the thing is, see, Dancing Rose, of course, he's an amazing fighter because everyone is telling you that he's an amazing fighter and he can do all of the tricks and all that. That's completely fine. But the thing is, how he's approaching it is that he's overconfident to another level, right? At that particular point. This guy, it's not like he just came, Arya I'm talking about, his character, it's not like he just loves boxing and he came in. He has been watching from the sidelines, from like the front row seat since like when he was like really, really small, right? And then you add the cast angle, all of the other angles that doesn't let you come inside, right? There's like a sense of, there's so much anger and this thing to prove something to someone, and you don't see sense. Yeah. That anger drives you, and then it's just sheer brutal forces, nothing else. But otherwise, he's not like a smart fighter. He's not smart in real life. He's actually a dumb fuck. But only towards the end does he really refine his moves and everything, because then he gets faster. There's like a certain technique. There's like an actual footwork. Until then, yeah, he knows a bit of it, but it's very instinctive. So it is a hero thing, but I think it made sense. And the fact that they put the best fight in the middle and not in the end. Actually, I didn't like the last fights and all that. That was more like a hero thing. Yeah, that had to happen. But I don't care. I enjoyed it, so it's completely fine.
See, the whole fight with Dancing Rose, it happened for multiple reasons. One was before that, you look at this Dancing Rose character and he just looks like a clown, right? You're not taking him seriously. Only after the challenge you get to know who he is, and you see that whole montage of how he fights, and that hypes up the whole fight. But Arya has to win this for him to even face Wembley.
Yeah.
So for Dancing Rose, it's more like he has this reputation. All he has to do is like just win this. There's not much riding stakes wise for him. But for Arya, his friend tells you that this is the one chance you get. We are not going to let go of this chance. So a lot of things are riding for him. There's a huge stakes. So yeah, Arya has to win that. I agree with Ranak. The last fight, the whole point of, the whole part where Arya, gets back into shape just within a couple of weeks. I don't know, was it even days? Getting back into shape and finally winning it. I didn't care much for it. I would have rather left that whole fight where, both of them are getting into the fight. They realize that they really love the fight rather than, who wins, who loses, what are the stakes. It doesn't matter. They just really get into the fight without cheating and, give each other their best shot. That was in the film, but I would just have, for me, I didn't care for who won at that point. They would have just, put a freeze frame of them both going at each other with one last blow and just put the end, and I would be happy.
That's like Rocky 2, no? If I'm not wrong.
Let's not draw comparisons. Let's not do that. But yeah, I didn't care much about at that point. It didn't matter who won.
Yeah.
But can I say I loved the montage. The Nioli song was that was something like you can. I don't care anything happens after that. But there's like one comedy fight. Like these guys come out of nowhere and then they start hitting him. And then Kaleyarasan also comes out of nowhere. I thought he was going to die at that point, but then something he does and then he survives. So that particular point after that was pretty okay. But then
there was a lot of cinematic stuff. Also the one scene where you have Arya, then you have a Christian and a Muslim, and unity and diversity and all that. The film kind of lost me there. Until that point, I was behind the whole thing. At this point, everything after that Nioli song didn't matter much.
Okay.
Jimmy? But
really not much to add. I've only seen the movie once and it has been a while. So for me personally, I think the first half was much more memorable. I still remember how in awe I was at the beginning because we got this huge scene with the fighting and the production design and everything looked so amazing and so expensive. And I was completely drawn in because the movie is so intense and immersive. And then, the fight against Dancing Rose, probably the highlight of the movie. But I agree, the last fight, I really don't even remember much of it. And I think some of the story progression in the second half was also a bit kind of like they wanted to give you this whole journey of the hero, right? The rise, the fall, and everything in this one movie. And at the end, I wasn't that into it anymore, but still also my second favorite Tamil movie of the year.
Okay. Kishor, let's talk about Kadaseela Biriyani.
It's
time.
I was fortunate enough to be invited for the premiere show. Like you missed it. It was fun. It was
a theatrical release, right?
Yeah,
okay.
It was. I went for the premiere show, saw a lot of celebrities. So that by itself is like my top 5 cinema experience for me.
Can you say who was there?
There was Tyagaraja Kumaraja. There was Siddharth. There was, of course, Ashwin Saravana was there. Directors. Anand Ravichandran was there. Couple more. I think this Tamil Padam 2 heroine, she was there. A lot of Instagrammers were there.
Okay.
I know. But Tyagaraja Kumaraja was there. And BR was standing right next to him. So I just went to say hi to BR just so I can say that I stood close to Tyagaraja Kumaraja. But it was really fun. My first premiere show. Getting to the movie. This is the film draws a lot of inspiration from Pulp Fiction in a good way. It still feels like a Tamil movie. It still feels like a Tamil movie. It didn't feel like a Hollywood film. It didn't feel like it happened anywhere. It could happen anywhere else. But still, it draws a lot of inspirations from Pulp Fiction in a good way. And it keeps throwing these curveballs at you. At every moment you think that this is going to happen, they just go the opposite way. And I really loved that theater experience. Let me just tell you how good the film was. Like, the films had subtitles and during the premiere show, and people actually wanted the subtitles to be turned off because it was actually distracting them. So the producer actually went and tried to switch it off. They couldn't, but that actually tells you how engrossing the film actually was. They found the subtitles to be distracting.
Not my kind of people.
It doesn't matter, Yeah, for this film, the dialogues doesn't actually matter. You still get what's going on, but yeah, this whole film was a curveball, man. I didn't expect it to be. I actually watched one trailer, but I didn't get what it was actually. I went in blank, and this was a whole new experience for me. It quickly made the second best Tamil film for me for this year.
You certainly don't need subtitles for that whole lemon soda scene. I think that's one of the funniest scenes of the year, and it's totally understandable without subtitles.
My one gripe though with the movie was when Vijay Sethupathi showed up at the end. It actually took me out of the movie because it's Vijay Sethupathi. You see him as the actor. What is he doing in this film? And I was having this fun conversation outside with Anand Ravichandran, who is the director of Settum Ayiram Pon, the Netflix movie. And he was telling me he would have preferred if it was the old lady who was selling the lemon soda, if she showed up in the Lord. It's just visual thinking. I'm just saying that the film is so crazy that it wouldn't feel out of place if that old lady showed up. But for me, the whole place where Vijay Sethupathi showed up, it took me out of the movie. Other than that, it was a near perfect movie for me.
Yeah, I didn't like it, or I didn't love it as much as you did, but I have to say the cinematography of this movie is drop dead gorgeous. This is easily one of the best cinematographies I've seen all year. And especially in the first half, because the second half plays mostly at night.
Yeah.
But the first half, when they are in, I guess, Kerala, in the forests, it looks so special, and it reminded me a little bit of Churli, and it also reminded me of Stalker, the Andrei Tarkovsky movie, because it's this almost surreal-looking landscape, even though it's completely realistic. But the way it's filmed and how they approach it. It had some kind of surrealist touch to it, and I thought the camera work was really outstanding.
Vishal sir?
Yeah, it's a movie I also really, I wouldn't call it my favorite or anything. It's a movie I really, really enjoyed. And I didn't have that problem with Vijay Sethupathi. I actually would have had a bigger problem if he hadn't come, because then it's just Vijay Sethupathi narrating the story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. For me, I think it's because he comes back that I realized that, okay, it's a guy who's been driving on those roads. He somehow gets a backstory without having to give us a backstory. So in that sense, I didn't have a problem with that. I really like that villain, man. I just really like that guy. Like, he's crazy. Like, I believe that he was crazy.
But I have this question for you. Did it feel more like a Malayalam film or a Tamil film? You know what I'm getting at, right? The landscape.
I felt like it was like a Tarantino inspired Tamil film only. Like, there's so many like that, right? So I thought it was in that even the way even when they go to Kerala, even when the villain is Malayali and all that, it still came from that kind of a zone.
No, not because of the setting alone. The way this was shot with with the slow scenes where you drag it out, and it felt new for a Tamil film, but that's why I wanted to ask you: did it feel more like a Malayalam film in that with a really, really low budget, not many locations, and dragging out that scene before you give that punch? For me, it didn't feel like a typical Tamil film.
That it did not. It's got a really gritty kind of indie vibe. It's not at all the way that I don't think I'm so interested in that lead character. He's such a wimp for that kind of a film, right? He's he's so out of place in that film, and he's such a good boy, and you really feel that, because that's the kind of setting. I saw it. In my review also, that's what I've written. I really saw that movie like it's like a Ranbir Kapoor movie, like if you're coming from a family like that, it's exactly like Wake Up Sid, right? The father is in a what do you call it, like a bathroom fittings kind of a business, and he's not interested in that. He's interested in something like that. This is the same. He's coming from a Madurai family where revenge is like a daily routine. The only thing is, here the father is the good guy, the mother is the bad person. So I looked at that movie like one career crisis kind of a movie, and it connected so much to me. Like it's like killing somebody because they killed your father. It's a lot like, okay, why are you putting all that onto me? I don't care about all that. I don't care about past history. I just want to live a peaceful life. That really moved me. It was not just a very like an indie, gritty, dark movie, but it's also like a very moving kind of a like a character arc of a really screwed up guy, really screwed up guy in that family. So I also really like the movie. I would just that I won't call it my favorite or anything like that.
Okay. Like I felt I think I was the only one I was expecting Vijay Sethupathi to show up, because the film started with him saying that I met a guy who told me this story. So I was waiting, is this guy only Vijay Sethupathi? He'll grow up or something?
He'll grow up to be.
Or like, how will that, come at the end? And I love the way it came at the end. And talking about I think the cinematography, I love those shots, when they are running behind each other, the brothers in the beginning, and the close-ups, and it's so ecstatic, and there's so much energy into it. And then suddenly you just zoom out, it's a long shot, and they're just, not even running fast. It's like a joke, like they don't even matter in the larger scope of things. And I think someone in the chat said, Hrithik Menon said, the film gave a LGP plus Tarantino vibe throughout.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sums up it, because there's a lot of shots of the animals also throughout the film, close-up shots of animals. So yeah. But have you guys noticed this theme of a lot of films based in the forest, and how when you be in that forest, the humanity is gone, and the survival instinct or the the savageness of humans come out, like Churuli.
Yeah, especially with and Kala.
Yeah,
movie Kala. Yes.
But the point Kala's making is the opposite point. As in, the guy in the forest is more civilized than the guy in the house. So Kala makes the opposite point.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Ronak?
Dude, I have not watched the movie. I was going to watch it tonight, but thank you guys. Now I can't,
we didn't spoil
can't
much.
watch it. Vijay Sethupathi comes in the end. The mom is a bad person. What more do I need?
You know that the mom is a bad person from the beginning.
In spite of all this, there's still more to the film.
Okay, no, I'm going to watch it anyways. I was just waiting for, I heard it's a little disturbing, or I don't know if it's disturbing or violent, or
it's violent. It's super violent.
I would say it's like Pulp Fiction-y, like it's like making fun of it, kind of.
Like you laugh. I just watched. I watched Rocky like 3 days back, so I need a little bit of a break from that universe. Even though I loved Rocky, I need a little bit of a break. But I'm going to watch it like today or tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll not spoil it for you. It's just that there's a portal opens at the end.
Any further?
And
You
Vijay
can't spoil it any further.
There's a moon, and then the three people just dive straight into the moon.
We haven't spoiled about the whole biryani. Was there a biryani?
Yeah.
We haven't told you
so
yet. So watch it for that.
And
What
that's
is the meat of the biryani?
that's the most predictable part of the plot.
Yep.
But there's a spoiler alert on the stream, so
Not for people who are in the stream, right? People who are watching it.
All right. So moving on to the next one. Let's talk about Maanaadu. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah. Oh, surprisingly right for a North Indian. Not bad.
So except the commercial compulsion, which I love this term by BR. Oh my God, this sums up everything perfectly. Except that part, I just really enjoyed that film.
I didn't get that. Which part?
What commercial
The commercial compulsion, adding songs, adding those like movements.
They
One song, man.
One
It's
song, and
okay.
they were smart about it. Like the film is supposed to have 6 songs. The director had let's have one song played 6 times.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Kishor, come on, it's a very lazy song. The wedding song, right?
Yeah, the wedding song, yeah.
It's a very lazy song with like Simbu. See, eventually Simbu's like one of the best dancers. They would have at least used that, right? It looked like one of those.
No, they had other
songs.
problems to deal with the song, like in terms of CG and everything. But I think the song was actually the how do you say, the lyrics of the song, right? It's like Merzaila, 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 Merzaila. It just keeps going like that. That is basically the movie also. The same thing repeating over and over again. And actually, when they show it again and again, you sense there's one kind of like a frustration. If it was any other song, it would be even more irritating. But I think even though the song was lazy, it was a very mediocre song. I think it fit the narrative very well. like because he has to come and dance for the same shit all over again. So I think that was okay. Other than that, what was the commercial compulsion that you?
Yeah, like even they add that kind of a love angle into it. That song. It's until the time loop starts. The first time loop starts. Until that part, even the acting, I felt really, really off. I was like, at moments I was cringing with some actors, like some side actors.
Yeah.
The friend, I cannot tolerate such. I don't know why. Even in what's that movie?
It's his first Premji experience, probably.
Oh, okay.
You don't know Premji.
Karti's movie, right? With Lokesh Kangal.
Biryani.
No. Kaidi. That truck, the lorry owner, the kid who's with them. I couldn't stand that guy throughout the movie. That movie. I don't know. Like, it's just, it's like that character doesn't understand the fact that what position he is in the movie. It's like he's added by someone from the outside of this universe to, make people laugh,
That is almost every Tamil movie.
Exactly. I completely agree with Nona. That's the commercial aspects. I didn't mind them that much because once, like Nona said, once the time loop is running, it becomes much better.
Once that loop starts, I was enjoying.
But the first 20 minutes, I was also kind of, oh my God, this looks very kind of cheap in some regards. And then we get a lot of loud noises when something funny is occurring. And then we get that one time with the animation where a light bulb is animated because the girl has an idea. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? Is this a WhatsApp chat? It was kind of off-putting. But once the time loop is running, this movie was super entertaining. And It's overall, it's a very good movie.
You do realize when you said that the whole character, it felt like someone just put them in the movie from outside. You do realize Premji is the director's brother, right? And what you said is probably true. Every Venkat Prabhu movie has to have Premji in it. So for us,
it doesn't matter. The story
it doesn't matter. It's like white noise for us at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think we have yet
a lot
to
to do
trained.
with the context. Yeah.
But
the light bulb, all of that stuff that you're saying, all commercial compulsion, all of that stuff, right? I'm looking at the context of it, in the sense, something like a time loop, right? Because I don't know how this film they convinced a producer to make this film, because it's very difficult for a producer to make him clearly understand that this is going to reach people.
Yeah.
Right. That the commercial lens is very, very important for this particular film. And because it is, apart from this, I know for us, it might look lazy or, stupid to an extent. That's fine. But there were family audiences, all of these people coming in. And then, there is something here and there for everyone. And once that loop starts, that first 20-30 minutes is just to get you slowly acclimatized to like every single thing that is happening, the girl, the glass, and all of that stuff. So after that, you don't have to explain much. They don't explain much after that, right? I was so surprised with the editing of the film, because especially that the place where he goes into that mansion and that fight takes place.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it was so fast. Then I was looking around if everyone was like getting it or not, if everyone was on track. But then
the marriage hall, right? You're talking about the marriage hall.
Yeah, the marriage hall with like a big fight. And then after a point, they didn't bother to start from the beginning. They just started just for like 10 seconds back and then back like that.
Yeah.
But everyone was getting it. So I think that initial thing was important. If you look at the context of it, to reach every person, I think they had to do it. And it's excusable, but because it was, apart from Karnan, that was a completely different experience. Like, this is undoubtedly one of the best theater experiences in a very, very long time. It's not even this year. Like, in a very long time, this is like, because every time he was waking up, every time S.J. Surya was waking up, the crowd was going nuts.
That twist was awesome, man. That twist was super.
Not just the twist, right? You're expecting it, and each time he's kind of playing it slightly differently. He's laughing. After the next time he's fed up. The next time he's like really angry, and then he figures out how to put a stop within that also. So I think like
Yeah,
And it's a
it's
film
important.
that just keeps getting better, right?
Yeah.
You take the concept and the fact that they chose to double the concept, which is not a movie. I've not seen a lot of double time loops.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've chosen
Russian
to,
Doll did it.
which one?
Russian Doll.
Russian
Netflix-
Doll, yeah. I
yeah.
haven't watched it. Yeah. So
spoilers.
yeah. So I think when they kind of use it like that, it's a movie that just keeps getting better and it keeps surprising you, right? Because he's thought of everything. He's thought of everything that we can think of. There's
Yeah.
nothing predictable happening. You know, everything is one step faster than what we could think.
Yeah.
You know, I think you also mean the symbolisms, right? Like a little like the fan service kind of dialogues at the beginning where he's talking directly. I refer to
And
those
the
things as
Manmadan
well.
reference.
Manmadan reference and all
The
that.
whole
Yeah.
nosebleed.
Yeah.
Like
But I
also,
guess I
like,
mean,
they start the
Okay,
film
Nona
like he's
doesn't
a
get
very
it.
big VIP and we have to wait for him and they never bring it back.
That's
Yeah,
Simbu.
exactly.
That's
That's
Simbu.
no-
that's-
Simbu is still VIP.
Okay, got it. Got
That's in
it.
part 2 apparently.
yeah.
But someone commented on my review that the at the end when he tells her right in the last loop that I'm a raw agent and for 6 months I've been following.
Yeah.
That was actually the initial idea for the film, that he'll be a raw agent who will solve this case, and then they turn into a time loop thing. That was interesting. My biggest why I like this movie is that how they've taken this concept, which we have, I think most people have seen that in Hollywood films, that's not really exciting. The exciting is how they've implemented it in a Indian genre of like giving a social message movie with the hero, and the whole thing of how in an Indian mass commercial movie it's all about hero versus villain and who will die, and villain is trying to kill the hero, and he just flipped it. That villain has to save the hero and hero has to find cool ways to die again and again, and we are cheering up for that. So the marriage of these two things, the way they've blended it is just outstanding, and that's why
And
I'm
the
in love
glass
with this.
scene, right? Like the way he brings it back, the glass ceiling falling.
Yeah,
on his
I didn't
head.
I don't know why he's
What a
posing like
cool
this,
idea.
and suddenly you're like, yes.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
But I want to ask you guys. For me, I love the movie. I had a lot of fun, but I felt it was a very, very ordinary looking movie.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
when you're using
visually.
Yeah.
visually,
Yeah.
yeah. And for me, like it is like the fight in the end, right, between the politicians in that hall with the statue and all, right. It's such a very it's so the go down looks very ordinary. That setup looks very ordinary. You can smell the paint of the set. It felt like that, It didn't feel like an actual. It's such a cool movie. It's so well edited. It's so many things they've thought of, but everything just looks so plain. It's so plain, like a TV movie. I don't know why they couldn't have just figured like a way to
I
make
think
it so.
it just comes down to Venkat Prabhu. He's, if you see his first
Yeah,
film,
Mangata. Yeah.
every film of his
Even
is kind of
especially if you look at Biryani, right? Biryani is like super
Yeah.
flat. Like I don't know, it just felt
Yeah.
like really what. I think he doesn't really
Yeah.
care about that. But if the story and like what's happening can sustain, like make you like overlook that, then I think I can overlook it. I don't know. Even I felt
you
it,
can-
what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely overlook it because the movie is so good. But I was also a bit baffled by the fact that the car scenes, whenever we see someone in the car, there's green screen. Like, is it really so expensive or so difficult to film scenes
They are
with the
driving
car?
straight.
Yeah, one guy is really driving like this, and I was reminded of old Hollywood movies with some rear projection. It looked very
And
fake and
so disturbing, right?
unnecessary.
Because they're going from a place, it's like a busy route. They're supposed to be in a hill. They go down, and the second they take that road where everything starts happening, it's a road where either a crash has to happen or something important has to happen. It's such a everything they go down. It's so purposeful, right? It's just.
Yeah.
There's no effort that's gone in to make everything seem so smooth and beautiful, which we should expect, because it's an expensive movie. I don't think it's a low budget movie or anything, and it's a big star, big movie. So we should just want cool looking movies also. I feel to some extent.
Yeah. Because I recently went to Ramoji City. In so many movies, I know that's where they're shooting this. I know this set now.
The airport. I know the airport. The Ramoji Rao. I felt like I've gone to the bathroom there. That's the number of times they shoot in the Ramoji Rao airport set, in the hospital set, and all that.
Anurag Thakur says, why Tamil movies are full of reference of old Tamil movies. every mainstream Hollywood film does that.
I mean,
They
why not?
reference
Yeah.
old Hollywood films.
Look at any Marvel movie; it's all
Yeah.
references. There's nothing
Yeah.
new going on, anyways. So, like for me, everything's the same. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
The
actually,
textuality
Tamil
sells.
movies become more fun because of the references. Only thing is, sometimes they don't know where to stop. Like it just keeps going on. Like
Yeah.
for
I had
example,
fun.
Yeah,
When
I
the
had fun.
corrected thing comes, the corrected logo or whatever comes, I had a lot of fun.
I was expecting it. Like it had to happen. Like if it didn't happen, I would be pissed off. So like, I'm sure a lot of people would be, a lot of Simbu fans will be feeling the same thing.
But Venkaprabhu is the master of that. He's the master of making in jokes, insider jokes and all that. He loves doing that, and it's something that's really pleasurable when he does it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's come to Doctor. One more movie which really I was surprised. I knew going in because everyone was talking about it. Oh, it's a dark comedy. I'm like, okay, but I really enjoyed that film. Again, had that commercial compulsion things here and there, but again, it's like excusable. That's why the term really works well.
Which one? Like what was
The ending, the way he saves the day, that doesn't really adds up really well for me. The whole love story arc, it's like
so basically you want like everyone, like the hero to die in every movie.
no, I'm not saying
And
that.
then-
I'm not saying that. I want them to find a
I'm just saying too
clever
much.
way of doing it. Like
Okay. Yeah, it was.
Like, see, the clever way to do it would be to not get involved at all. Right? This guy is
Yeah.
crazy. He gets into this whole stuff. He tries to bring down a whole mafia gang.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that last scene where he says, "No, I'll kill the girl. Let him kill all my men. I'll kill the girl." Like that stupid.
I'm just getting to that and telling you that for that to be realistic, the whole premise isn't realistic. It hasn't been realistic till that point for that to feel odd,
But I disagree with you, Nona, because see, from the beginning, the reason why he's doing this is never for the girlfriend. I mean, never for I don't know the girl. Yeah, he's doing it for the niece character. From the beginning, even like for some 2 seconds, they show both of them having fun on the beach or something like that. So from the beginning, when he's doing it for the niece, right, and because he's such a clinically emotionless guy, but because he doesn't know how to express, it doesn't mean he's emotionless. So I kind of brings that back very cleverly in the end when it's about saving so many little girls.
No.
So that way,
I'm not even talking about that.
more-
I'm talking about that last scene where he's tied up and the villain is like, "I'll kill her," but I don't know how he gets out of it, and he starts killing his men, whoever tries to kill the girl. And this guy's like, they're like, "Should we kill him?" And he's like, "No, first you kill." And I'm like, this guy, ran this whole thing for like so many years. He's so clever. He runs a hotel, and
The
suddenly
villain, you
he's
mean?
the villain is
Sam.
behaving suddenly out of character just to
Hey,
make us laugh.
Vinay.
Oh, sorry. Vinay.
Vinay, what did he say?
Sham fans.
Another old hero.
Yeah, reference.
Yeah.
Kind of interchangeable. They both had their debut with the same director. Though.
Wow.
Oh,
You didn't know that?
No,
I'm just realizing now.
like,
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that,
coming back to the I mean, if you want to nitpick, yeah, sure. I mean, this guy just lost his father. He lost his whole empire. I don't know. At that point, he wasn't even thinking straight. But what are we trying to do? Trying to make sense out of a commercial film? Like I said, if you start, if you start bringing realism into this kind of a movie, then the whole plot won't happen. So, you just have to
I
take
think
that
I
still part
like
of your
the
brain.
movie. I like the movie, but really not as much as you all here clearly did. For me, my problem was that the comedy I thought was really funny, but whenever the movie tries to be a thriller and there are huge segments without any laughter, that was like I'm watching two movies at the same time. I'm watching a thriller that's okay, and I'm watching a comedy that's mainly pretty good. And I was hoping that the thriller aspects would also inject more comedy, but in the end, it was a kind of weird mixture for me personally.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The film actually falters whenever the plot actually happens. It's the things that in between the actual story that happens that made the film for me.
Not just the plot. Like whenever they try to make you emotional, it doesn't like I don't
Yeah.
care. Like you just make me laugh. That's all. You're doing it well. Just stick to that. But I get exactly what like Jimmy is saying. Like whenever they try to get serious or try to invoke some kind of emotion in you or some grief or something like that, then it's just. And for me, honestly, towards the end, I kind of tuned out. Until then, I had a lot of fun, and then I just kind of just do whatever you want. I've already Vasulofied, like, in the sense, like, I've had my share of fun. Like, it doesn't matter what happens after this. I know those villain Soman guys are going to come and destroy everyone. It's okay. You do your thing now. But other than that, like, it was so funny in the sense. That's the thing about the theater, right? Especially with comedies, right? Even if it's not funny, if someone else laughs over here, you feel like laughing, and it's not such a bad thing. Like it's really infectious. And then the jokes that didn't even get over, like got over long back, is still laughing for that long after that. And I think the comedy itself is like a very new brand of comedy for Tamil cinema. It's very, sometimes it's Wes Anderson-ish, sometimes it's Guy Ritchie-ish, Tarantino-ish, everything together. So in terms of like an original voice, I think it's something new. And it looks so different.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see how amazingly he casts and how amazingly he creates funny characters out of each person, because especially that guy, the
Goan guy.
friend of police, right? No, not the Goan guy. The friend of police, Bhagat, who's Red in Kingsley. That guy, the short guy, he's always there. You just see him Annatha. Okay. He's there Annatha also. You won't even know he's there, but he's there. There's a clear difference between how much attention you pay to your different characters.
Yeah.
Right? In Doctor, there are not many characters out of place. Even though they are bit characters, every character has something to do. Even in the background, they'll be doing something.
Yeah.
And so I think this is just the second film, and I think he's going to get much better after this. And I actually was I was watching a conversation with a lot of different directors, including Nelson, and you can clearly see that he is the film, like he is the comedy part of the film, in the sense like his personality is entirely that. He's genuinely an amazingly funny guy. So I think that he did really well. Emotional part, it's not really good, but I think you can kind of excuse it.
Yeah.
I agree with Ronak. It's actually a very it's a film that understands that Sivakarthikeyan can't do funny. He's the usual. He's the guy who doesn't need a sidekick because he can deliver the jokes himself, right?
Yeah.
So he's one of the very few stars who can do that himself. He has like Parata Suri and all that, but then he can do it himself too. But taking a star who's known for his comedy and his wisecracks, and then you're completely muting him, right? Because he has no room to do anything. But you surround him with all these people, and I'm telling you, like, they might be funny. Redden Kingsley is funny in other movies too, but then this guy knows he's seeing these characters in a very, very strange way. I'll give you another example, because there's a really, really funny scene in Kolamavu Kokila where this guy comes and he's supposed to get married to Nayanthara's sister. Okay. And it's a comedy scene I watch like every month or so, because it's hilarious. That same actor in another movie, right? I think the remake of Pelli Chuplu, he's not able to do that. He's just not able to, like, the directors, you cannot simply cast that guy and say, okay, be funny like Santanam, because that's not how these actors are. You also have to see them like how this guy is seeing him. So which is why I thought, okay, he can't do this a third time, because how often is he going to find strange guys like the Goan guy and all that, strange, peculiarly funny guys. But then
I know that guy also in person, and no one else will cast him. Like, there is no other reason to cast him. Okay, he doesn't speak a word of Tamil. Like, watch his interviews. He is exactly like that in real life and in the movie also. But to know that this is going to work for
exactly.
how do you even know it's going to work?
It's the guy, right, who gets his hand first injured, right?
Yeah.
The henchman.
I'm not a Pombale, I'm an Ambale, like that guy.
The henchman, okay.
Yeah. Even the heroine, Priyanka Mohan, she's so funny in the movie.
Yeah.
So he's not wasted anything. He's like, everybody should be funny in this movie, except the mother character. If the mother is funny, then the movie doesn't work. So I think he doesn't take a chance only with the mother. Everybody else has a room to be funny. I mean, I'm not talking about the villain, but every family member.
Yeah.
Right. And to give you guys a bit of context, right? Like especially Nona and Jimmy, the thing how comedy or mostly anything works in Tamil is that there's not much of a script or anything, right? In the sense, dialogues are kind of written on the spot. Of course, there are exceptions where there are few filmmakers who do it really well, especially in terms of comedy, right? They cast, like Vishal was saying, they cast someone like Santanam, and then they'll be like, you do the thing, you do whatever you want.
They let them improvise.
Yeah, we'll just roll the camera and then you just do whatever. So without realizing how much it's going to cost, the production cost and all of that, and whether it's actually even going to turn into laughter in the end, we don't really know. Sometimes Santanam is amazing, but sometimes it's like, what, like, am I supposed to laugh or not? And this happens with pretty much every comedian. And some comedians, like this used to happen in the past in terms of Gaundamani, Senthil and all. These are two legendary comedians of like since like 90s, especially during the 90s and then late 80s, I'm guessing. Okay, during that time. These guys had like a separate track going on. So at that time, people used to come watch the movie only for their track. And then the rest of the movie just happens to be there. It doesn't matter. So there are like these comedy tracks that become evergreen. Thing is, a lot of people didn't evolve from that. So in terms of comedy itself, this is one guy who's actually having his own brand of humor, and he's extracting that out of very, very peculiar actors and characters, which will not work in any other universe. And Vishal said that Priyanka Mohan is so funny, right? The female character. She's funny because of the tone of the film. Because if you look at her face, she's not even smiling. I think most of the film, she has like this deadpan look. Okay. And when she's saying something or not saying something or something, it automatically becomes like funny for some reason, but it wouldn't work otherwise. Yeah. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of context as to how things work.
I think we have to wrap it up now quickly, but just 2-3 movies and just quickly want to touch, and the big elephant in the room, Jai Bhim. We cannot not
it's
talk about
3.
that movie. Why I said elephant in the room, because I had some issues with it, but like BR, I also faced some backlash. But anyways, your thoughts on that film?
I haven't watched it, so I'm staying out.
Okay.
I actually watched BR's review first, and then I was like, okay, maybe it's going to be like bad. But then I watched it. I actually found it like it's one of my favorite films of this year. Okay, and because I know it is not subtle. In a lot of places, it's like very overboard. There are a few shots of this toy being crushed. All of that stuff is there. But other than that, look at what actually they're trying to talk about. And my thing is like, maybe the film is not perfect or anything, but my main motive is that this has to reach certain people in certain ways. I think this was perfectly made for, actually it's made for TV, right? If this is shown to like so many different screens, like at prime time, suppose on Vijay TV or Sun TV or something like that, my thing is that this story needs to reach those people somehow.
Yeah.
Because and I'm not saying things are going to change overnight or something, but at least they know that these things are actually happening, rather than all the shit that gets peddled on as entertainment on these television channels and all, right? Like all the soaps and everything, all of that stuff. So in that term, I found it very engaging. Very honestly, it's not perfect, it's not subtle, but it did its job for like what I wanted it to do. So I'll disagree with BR's review, and it's okay. He liked Bigil, so I think it's okay to disagree with him. Sometimes. Yep. I mean, sometimes, whenever, and it's okay to disagree. So like, it's not.
Of course, it's definitely in the end, it's very subjective, and I think you can easily see with this movie that it's probably too maybe manipulative for a lot of people. But for me, it was just right before that spot. Like you said, it's not subtle at all, but because the message is so important and because this is about such a marginalized group, I think it's okay in this case that the movie is painting this picture with these big strokes, and I was nonetheless very moved by it, and so I gave it a very positive review, even though I definitely see that it's kind of paint by numbers in certain moments. But I enjoyed it as much as you can enjoy something with this subject matter. It a lot in the end, and I think it definitely hit a nerve with audiences, because on IMDb this one has a 9.4 and over 160,000 people have voted. So I think this is one of the most highly rated Indian movies of the year, and it definitely hit a nerve.
Yeah. Even for me, like let's even if you leave aside the importance, because leave aside the importance, leave aside the fact that we didn't even know there were people like this 50 kilometers outside Chennai. It's like, but it's a damn good thriller, right? Like, I'm just asking you guys, isn't it a damn good thriller? Because you want to know what happened to those cops. I mean, those three guys.
People,
yeah. And it takes you to such an important even after, I can't, Kishor is listening, but then even after somebody important, he's muted himself. Okay.
No, I can still hear you, but don't worry about me. I don't care for spoilers.
So even when you know what kind of happens to Sengani's husband, you're still curious about what happened to the other two guys. So there's nothing, like, you're always invested, because at every single stage you're inching close to a big reveal. And that Sengani scene where she gets the cop and the jeep to walk behind her is hands down the best mass scene.
Yeah.
You know. So I look at it like it's a movie in that tone. I don't think the directors even care to make it Visarane, because that's not at all the intention. It's like a really, really classy mass movie, like a super important mass movie. That's how I see it. And that's why you really feel it. You feel that house and how they grow up. I just love both of them, man, as a couple. And the kid, I don't remember. I don't feel much for her. But then as a couple, I just love them. You really want good things to happen to them. You feel so heartbroken when that guy dies, right? And you feel bad when he dies in Netrikan. So you'll feel 100 times worse when he dies in JB. So
I can't watch Netrikan now.
Oh shit! Sorry,
I'm not.
You are not going to. I know that you are not going to.
I've already talked a lot about Jerry on my channel, but for me, it's everything you guys said. I agree with Sangiri. I'm so happy that the film has actually caused some difference in the society. My only thing is that my favorite film of the year is The Great Indian Kitchen, and it will be for decades. Why? Because it's not the social issue. It's the way how he has used his filmmaking skills and craft to tell that issue, talk about that issue. That's why that film, as a film, is one of the greatest film I have seen. When I want that from every film. I want every film to be great, But when I watch this film,
but you don't want every film to be the same.
No, of course. But I want at least for me to appreciate that. Oh my God, how they have told this story. See, one thing I said in my review that I didn't read about this issue, of course, before watching the film, so don't get spoiled. But the moment we get to know that they are missing, I knew either they are dead, at least one of them is dead, and two are missing. Like the police has done it. It's very obvious. So the thriller aspect is out the window. So my point is that I don't want to compare it, but take an example of if you have seen Jolly LLB. In that movie, the major twist of what happened to those people when the reveal happened, I'll not spoil it, the reveal happened at the end, it shocks you. You are like, you're speechless. Like, how can humans do this to other people? And that I felt when they have this original story, which is so true and can be told in such a powerful way that you are shattered when that reveal happens. And in this movie, first 30 minutes, I know what's gonna happen in next 2 hours, and that's
the point.
Two guys live, one guy dies. Did you expect that?
Yeah, no. I was totally. I knew they killed them. It's very obvious.
Everybody lives, everybody dies. Of course, that will happen in every movie.
No. I'm talking in the sense, and I said in my review that the makers, what they set out to, they did that. It's a perfect movie. What they wanted to, and that's what my definition of perfect movie. If what the vision was of the movie, if they delivered that, that's a perfect movie. And I
But
have no
Nona, I'll
problem
tell
with
you-
it.
I'll
But
tell you, Nona,
personally,
filmmaking. See, I completely agree with you, and it's completely your perspective is completely my perspective as well when it comes to so many movies. But when it comes to Jai Bhim, right? You take the Great Indian Kitchen and you take Jai Bhim. Great Indian Kitchen is a movie loved by people who are already pretty
Woke.
pretty woke and pretty they're already not that husband. You understand? They're not people like that husband or that father-in-law character in the Great Indian Kitchen. They're all, like already pretty sorted people. But then Jai Bhim is a movie that kind of works. Like I know a friend's dad who who watches one movie a year or something, who's talking to me about that movie. He would have never known about this people or this community or this story and the way it applied to him. Of course, there's another theory about how it keeps the urban guy at a distance and feel very sorry for these people. That's a different theory. But then the fact that this movie worked for so many people with that particular tone, I think it's in terms of importance, I think it's way more important than Great Indian Kitchen.
yeah.
You know?
And it's not only about the message, okay? Like in the sense, it keeps you actually. I felt, at least, like Vishal said, I actually felt emotionally invested, though I could predict a few things. But okay, how did these people disappear?
Yeah.
And how would that happen? I know they are going to get disappeared, but how did that happen? And like Jimmy said, there's like this one line. If you cross it, you just tune out. You become insensitive to it, because if you oversell the message, and I felt that with quite a few Bala movies in the past. Like example, Nan Kadavul, right? Oh, there is like okay, people are poor. It's understand, but it is like so much poverty porn that, and I go beyond that line of being emotionally invested to just repelled and like, okay, just get done with it. Like I don't want to sound insensitive or anything, but there are few movies who do it well, who keep you emotionally invested and stay true to this. And there are some movies that feel like they're, how do you say, capitalizing on that to feel it. They're punching your face, like feel this, feel sad right now. Okay, cry more. So I think it's like on that very, very thin line. So I think for that, it really works.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And we are like on lack of time. We have to quickly wrap this up. But just few shout outs to Mandela. That was quite a good movie. Have you seen Madate, the Unfairy Tale? Any of you?
Madati? No,
that was a really nice movie. And any other shout outs to any other film you guys enjoyed?
Rocky, definitely.
I think most people, Rocky and Writer, most people have not seen
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Before it disappears, if you can, just please go to the theater and watch it. Otherwise, there is no chance you can watch it at home. You have to experience it in the theater. At least Rocky, Writer, I've not watched it yet, but just go give it a chance. It's something very, very, how do you say? There's nothing new about the story, but the way it's told, and of course it's very violent, but you see that there's like a reason for the violence, and I don't know. It feels like there's again like a start of like a new voice in Tamil cinema. For a long time, it was just okay, Tarantino style, this, that, all of that. If you wanted to be something different, it was always Tarantino. But this really seems like a mixture of a lot of different things. Tarantino plus like Jimmy mentioned, like Tarkovsky and all of that. Though I've not seen his entire filmography and all that, the way the camera moves, the way they just let it breathe, all of that stuff it's very, very different. So you should definitely check it out in a theater.
Any worst Tamil films of the year?
For me, it was Kuti Story.
Okay.
That was the
Vijay
worst.
Sethupathi, right?
Oh yeah.
No,
No,
that particular
it
one
was an anthology. Yeah.
Anthology. The entire thing was a waste of time.
Yeah, I hated Venkat Prabhu's that video game gimmick thing. Yeah. For me, Annabelle Sethupathi. Why isn't anybody talking about Annabelle Sethupathi?
I don't watch.
If that was the movie that like it's supposed to be a children's movie or something, that's the movie that my parents showed me, I would kill both my parents like Kadaseela Biriyani or something.
Thanks again, Vishal. Now one more reason to not watch. Watch it now.
Yeah. So Annabelle Sethupathi is like ridiculously bad movie for me. Labam was pretty horrible. a lot of but Mugir is an amazing movie. Like I want more people to watch that movie. It's only 60 minutes and it's such a sweet movie. Like I just think so much about that movie. It's also an important movie. It's also like an important message kind of a movie, but then in a totally different context. It's about a very normal middle class family and what happens in that. And it's an amazing movie. I want more people to watch Mugir.
Can
It's
you
on
say?
Netflix.
Can you say it again?
Mugizh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just the last thing. What do you look forward to in Tamil cinema, particularly the future?
The future.
Like what you don't want them to do, like what do you think is like, okay, I don't want this to, go ahead, and what you want to see in the future, like not the movies but the style, the trend, and
See,
whatever.
one thing they've started doing better is commercial filmmaking, right? How they're trying to do different things with the hero. Like the hero is now becoming a character. Till now he was known as a hero. Now he'll be known as like a protagonist. What they did with Maanaadu, the guy who keeps dying again and again. In Master Vijay is an alcoholic. What else? In Sarpatta, he's such a weak character as except for the boxing. He's super dumb. He's like a very, very like a normal
Crybaby kind of,
yeah, and in Doctor also, like they just went against Sivakarthikeyan's grain totally. So they're trying to do different things with the lead character, and I think that should hopefully continue and get better. And there are a lot of movies to look forward to, especially like in Tamil. There's so many different collaborations, like Vikram with Kamal and Lokesh that's coming out, and then Dhanush has like some 3-4 movies which are coming out next year. Everything looks interesting. That Arun Madheshwaran's movie with also Dhanush. Yeah. Arun Madheshwaran is the director of Rocky. He's making a film called Sani Kayadam with Selva Raghavan and Kirti Suresh, which sounds like and very weirdly interesting. What else is there? What else is coming up?
Beast,
of course. That is that we're going to watch.
Valimai
Valimai should come out in January. Yeah, these you're going to watch anyways. As in it's like star vehicle, so you're going to watch it anyways. But what else?
Cobra.
Cobra. The other Karthik Subraj and Vikram film.
I don't know. Like in a sense, I really want it to work because Vikram. I don't know when the last time I saw something interesting from
Onion.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
2005.
That's been like 17 years, but yeah, something like that.
I like Irogan.
Really?
Yeah, I like it.
Really?
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Fun,
Oh,
and like a unintentional.
No. It's a cool, fun, like comic book kind of movie, I thought.
Speaking of comic book, Minal Murali was really good, and I want a Tamil film like that. Everyone just kept on, giving us examples that why superhero films won't work in India, and then comes this one little film that tells you exactly how it should be done.
Yeah.
Now that we have a film that showed the way, I want more and more films from Tamil, especially, to do that.
Because we are always looking outside rather than looking in, right? Kerala or like Malayalam cinema does that very well in terms of looking at what's going around in their streets, in their villages, and set something there instead of putting like what Mugamudi did. Give a Batman costume. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bring in Batman costume and you're done. No, this is actually I would call it a great super villain film.
Yeah.
The hero. I didn't care much for actual Minal Murali. This was a great super villain film, and it can be done, and it doesn't need like a huge budget.
Yeah.
So hopefully in 2022 we see a good superhero film in Tamil.
Jimmy, what about you?
I like to get surprised. I'm usually not really having all the new releases on my radar just when it comes to Hollywood, because I'm more well versed in that field. But when it comes to Indian movies, I like to get surprised, and then I don't know. I maybe movies like Karnan or Sarpatta Parambarai. I'm really a sucker for these underdog stories. So what you mentioned about the hero doing something different with the hero, and I'm always a sucker if the hero is someone who has to really fight and kind of the best in everything he's doing. So looking forward to more movies like that. Even last year, my favorite Tamil movie last year was Surarai Potru, and that was also like an underdog story that I really enjoyed. But then also these social justice topics, like Peranbu in the past, or now with Bhim, movies that address topics that are kind of new to me, shine a light on subject matters that I'm not familiar with, and movies like that I'm looking forward to.
All right. So I think that's the wrap up to this live stream. Again, thank you all of you for your time, and it was a great discussion, and a lot of people enjoyed it. We had over 100 people watching throughout. And again, all of you, thank you. Sorry couldn't take the chat. We had so many panel members and they had so much to say. And we have to wrap it up really quickly. So again, thank you all of you for watching, and do check them all of out. Their channel links and social media are in the description. And again, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time. See ya.
Thank you, Nona. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.